Next up, Virginia.
We've got everything that really made this country what it is today.
Krusing America, Krusing America, Krusing America.
Everything in Smithfield is about pigs.
Krusing America, Krusing America, Krusing America.
I'm living a dream.
I'm Lieutenant Colonel Victor Cruz, soldier, husband, and father. I grew up overseas as my dad was also a career soldier with 20 years of service and 2 tours in Vietnam. While in college, I started my Army career and spent most of that time outside the United States, places like Germany, Italy, Egypt, Kuwait, and even Iraq. I spent most of my life defending a country I've never really lived in, and I've seen some amazing things, but not much of America. Now my mission is set. I will retire from the Army and take my family across America on a great adventure to see the culture and country for which I defended and find the best place to raise my family. This is our journey. This is Krusing America.
All for one and one for Cruz.
Krusing America, Krusing America, Krusing America.
Steamboat a-comin'!
Krusing America, Krusing America, Krusing America. There you go, good job.
I'm living a dream.
Dear Vic, my husband and I, along with our 5 kids, live in the Tidewater area of southeastern Virginia. It's a large area that encompasses 7 cities, but the real secret lies in the outlying areas. See, just up the James River is a sweet little town called Smithfield, Virginia. It has a charming main street, it's surrounded by American history, a strong military presence, and all the big city conveniences just a short drive away. It would certainly not be a stretch for your family to consider Smithfield, Virginia as a place to call home. So come visit us.
When my cousin sent me an email and said to take a look at this small little town just outside of the Tidewater area called Smithfield, I was anxious to take a look at it and see what it had to offer.
Every time we ride up and see the river, we know this is the place to be.
This is a town typical of what people think of when they think about the best of America.
It is classic small town America. It's got fabulous southern charm.
To me, the greatest thing about living in Smithfield is the whole town is kind of like a family.
We live in the best place in the world.
I'm up early. I enjoy the morning. I enjoy watching the sunrise. Basically, every town we go to, I'd like to get up in the morning and kind of get the feel of the early morning rise of the town. Just like in the early cavalry days, the scout would go out and survey the land. The same thing I like to do.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
Doing great. I was able to walk down the main street and get a cup of coffee and just sit there and just listen to the sights and sounds of the town as it's waking up. Get a feel for, is the town growing? Is it picking up? And there's definitely a lot of potential there in that town.
We are a small town that actually has a Fortune 500 company smack dab in the middle of it.
We have a tremendous relationship with the town. We help the town when they need it, yet we do not try to run this town. The town of Smithfield certainly predates the company, but the company started its roots right here, right on the banks of the Pagan River. Now today the company is a $12 billion company. We're the largest pork processor in the world.
Smithfield Foods has been a stellar corporate citizen and supporter of the town of Smithfield.
If I had to describe my perfect town that I would like to settle in, it would definitely have to be a main street with activities.
We have a wonderful, eclectic mix of shops and attractions located right here on Main Street, including the Isle of Wight Museum, which has the oldest ham in America.
Look at that.
There it is.
It's a ham.
1902. That ham's over 100 years old. It's a certified
Wow.
antique. I was astounded when I walked in because the Smithfield Museum is big, it's professionally done.
It's the first bank of Smithfield.
County Museum is actually a bank, and it was originally built in 1913.
Hey, Joey, get Smitty over here. We're gonna bust into this thing.
And we also have a country store that everybody really loves to go in and visit.
What can we help you with today? We've got most anything you'll be needing.
Smithfield's been around for a long time, since colonial days, and so I'm sure it's got a lot of history and a lot of stories to tell.
The 1750 courthouse was modeled after the Capitol building in colonial Williamsburg. It served the town and the county for almost 50 years. Old world justice was administered right here in front of the courthouse.
Warden!
I think we should let them out.
Not yet.
Another place on Main Street was the ice cream parlor. It was neat to go into that old-fashioned ice cream parlor and to have an ice cream with the family.
At the beginning of the trip, Mom and Dad promised me that I would get to pick the family dog when we settle down. So I've been meeting dogs in every town we go to. The one I met in Smithfield was General MacArthur.
Oh, somebody's coming to greet us. Hi. Pet Center looked like your typical kind of pet boutique, but as soon as we went in the door and the little dog greeted us, it was hilarious.
This is Katie's, and her husband is Douglas MacArthur. We keep them very healthy because we use all kinds of herbal, holistic, healthful, whole food type of stuff. Now, you've had a burger, right? This is going to be very dry, but like a burger.
Tastes good.
So you say your husband just retired from the military?
He retired from 30 years in the Army, and we moved down here.
We immediately had that kind of sisterhood of military spouses, so that gave us some common ground right away.
I'm getting full too.
You're getting full too. All right.
Well, there we go, a pound or so later, and we've got them all full up. Hey, how you doing today?
Good, thank you. Warfield Antiques was just a little different. I mean, the style and the way the store was put together that made it very welcoming.
I like the Warfield Antique Store because it wasn't your own typical antique store. I mean, this one here was high-end, lots of real, genuine antiques. Look, Anthony, this is an old hickory shaft.
What's that?
It's the wood that they make them out of. They don't make them like this anymore.
Thank you. I love your store.
Thank you. You guys enjoyed it.
One of the unique things about being on Main Street is you get all of those establishments. One of the special ones is the Smithfield Inn. It has a lot of character and has a lot of history.
The Smithfield Inn is a historic centerpiece at the top of Main Street. Originally built as a private residence in 1752, it was later converted to an inn to serve for travelers passing through from Norfolk to Richmond. It is rumored that George Washington slept here on many an occasion.
One of the things I liked about the Smithfield Inn was being able to sit outside. It was very quaint and the gardens were pretty.
At Smithfield Inn, we're all just sitting at the porch. And then Santa Claus just comes out and sits down next to us.
You know, they're kind of getting to that age where they're not quite sure about Santa, but they still like to believe.
I thought you lived at the North Pole.
I do, but I saw him in Smithfield.
He was like there, and it's like, wow. He even took us to the Christmas store.
Santa Claus is just too cool. Children would come up to him all year round. And of course, he's not in his official clothes all the time, but he's Santa Claus every second that he's here.
Everything in Smithfield is about pigs. Look at these little ones. Itty bitty pigs.
Oh, look at the little one in front. He looks like Anthony. Look, Anthony, this looks like you.
Anthony?
He's got the green shirt and everything.
Mom and Dad.
That's
Why
the big pig.
Why am I the big one?
Because you are.
We put out a line of special Christmas pig ornaments that we have just made for our store. It's a neat thing that not every town gets to claim.
This might be where we end up, Smithfield, Virginia. The Tidewater area in the Chesapeake Bay is made up of 7 cities. And so it's kind of fascinating that as we were driving, all of a sudden we came into this rural part of Virginia. It was just farms and plantations. Out of nowhere, you come to this crossroads, and there it is, the Darden Country Store.
Darden's Country Store is a really unique place. It was built back in the 50s by my husband's family. It's the place that we sell our ham biscuits and ham sandwiches and hams, but it's the place for family and community to gather.
My father built this smokehouse about 1955. We've been using it ever since for curing meat and processing meat. This is part of the room that we use for doing all the salting and all the curing of the hams.
There were a lot of hams hanging from the roof, 2 layers of hams.
We put the salt on the hams, and it soaks right on into the ham. The salting process is done just like it was done in colonial times 400 years ago. And as it hangs, it's continuously dehydrating.
Tommy makes this comment about the hams losing 1/3 of their weight in the curing process. And I think we lost 1/3 of our weight, too, because it was sweltering in that ham house.
The Dardens were a very nice family, and they showed us their farm.
So we get on this hayride and we go into the Darden farm. This is one of those farms that actually was a teaching farm.
We've got a little bit of different things here. We've got cotton, we got the pumpkins, we got the peanuts. We think it's good for when kids come out on the farm. We want them to learn where food comes from. It started with people like me and Tommy.
Dee Dee pulls up this clump of peanuts out of the ground.
What do you see?
Peanuts! Very cool. They grew underground and then the sprouts sprouted up. So the peanut is actually the root of the plant.
I'm really glad that the kids got to see that. It's kind of neat for them to learn about where food comes from.
But we also have some watermelons here, so we're gonna try to find us a watermelon.
Oh, look, Anthony.
Yeah, you already found one. Well, let's pull it. Got it? Whoa!
Bring it over.
Anna, get another one.
What are you gonna do with it?
I say we take it back to the store and eat it. How about that?
Who wants watermelon?
Watermelon is the best thing in the entire world when it's hot. Nice, cool watermelon.
And we got to go through a corn maze. It's just an excuse to be a kid again.
Thank you. Oh, we're not gonna do a handshake. We gotta do a hug. All right.
There's something to be said about how people that work with the soil with their hands and how they're connected to that, they're just more kind and friendlier.
Maybe we'll see y'all at the farmer's market. Okay. Okay, sounds good.
The farmer's market is a great opportunity for a newcomer to get acquainted with that town.
Glad y'all made it today. Maybe it's not as hot today.
So
we brought
ham
we brought our
biscuits
ham biscuits, cheese, side meat. The market has been real good to us, and it brings people back to the store, and so. But we enjoy doing this. It gives us away from Tommy for a little while.
He might enjoy it too.
And he enjoys it too. Yeah.
Hi guys, how are you?
Smithfield High School Band.
So how many students in the band?
Well, we're about to march with about 70 or so.
Well, Smithfield High School Packers has a tradition of being a pretty prestigious band. And it has a long history of kicking butt, you might say. They're just a bunch of fun-loving kids who want to get it right, and I try to help them do that every day.
We have a pretty nice variety of educational offerings. We have a fabulous art center.
When we got to the art center, I wasn't sure at first if we were in the right place because it said visitor center too.
We have teamed up with the Art Center to create kind of a unique visitor center where you don't just come in to get brochures, but you come in and you can see fabulous art hanging on the walls, and we have live artists working in their natural habitat.
I make what most people call whimsical sculptures, and I look at them and I think they're silly, but they're fun.
There's the artist at work.
Hi, are you the Kruse family?
Yes, we are.
Well, it's nice to meet you. I'm Valerie Johnson, and we're going to be doing art on the fly today. Let's go back to the studio.
Okay.
We were able to go in there, meet an artist, and be able to do a small art project within 30 minutes, so we got to make paper mache pigs.
We each took the same white pig, and then we just made it our own.
Anthony didn't want wings on his pig, maybe too girly.
I made a pig that's in the jungle. These are the leaves that are blowing by, or bushes and he's running.
I think art really tells about its maker. Dad says go Army, black and gold. Wonder where he got that.
His name is Sergeant Pork. Go Army.
I mean, you see the quaint little main street and you think, well, this is really nice, but, you know, could I live here? I need something a little more. When we got over to Smithfield Station, that was the something more.
Smithfield Station is a boutique-style hotel, restaurant, and marina located on the banks of the Pagan River in historic downtown Smithfield, Virginia.
Smithfield Station had this very long boardwalk that was very comfortable and relaxed because you can take your whole family and just kind of stroll along and take it all in. They had lots of little shops on the boardwalk there, and Lori and Anna Marie went into one of the shops, and Anthony and I hung out there and just looked at the boats out on the Pagan River. It was kind of nice.
We did go into this one store, and I met this girl named Tess. She was the same age as me. She showed me how to make glitter lip gloss and bubble bath, and it was a lot of fun. I think if we lived in Smithfield, she would probably be one of my friends.
And there was even live entertainment that was going on there. The people were very warm, very welcoming.
I guess it's that Southern hospitality that you hear about. We really hadn't spent that much time in Smithfield. We'd met a few people, but we actually knew people when we showed up there to listen to the music, which was kind of fun.
On the far end of the Smithfield Station was this really nice restaurant, and we got to sit there as a family, overlooking the river and the activities that are going on, and just to have a really nice dinner.
You are, sir, one of our signature dishes, rockfish.
Randy Pack, who owns the restaurant, had some recommendations, and so we went with what he recommended to eat, and he was right on.
There you go, that's our lean generation ribs, okay?
Anthony ate a whole rack of ribs that long by himself.
I'm living the dream.
It was a great meal. I mean, just to watch the sunset and to enjoy a really nice meal there at the Smithfield Station. Just up the road from Smithfield is the historic triangle of Jamestown, Yorktown, and Williamsburg.
Virginians are very proud that Jamestown was pretty much where it all began for America.
Jamestown Settlement's a living history museum just south of Williamsburg, Virginia. This is where Captain John Smith and that first group of colonists came ashore over 400 years ago to begin English-speaking America.
We went to Jamestown and we saw the boats. They were recreated to look like Susan Constant, the Discovery, and the Godspeed.
Come aboard, we need a hand with the sail. You're aboard Godspeed. This is the mid-size of the three ships that brought the first colonists to Jamestown over 400 years ago. We're getting ready to set a sail. You want to lend us a hand?
Yeah.
Come on, we're going to the quarterdeck. First, we have to loose the gaskets. We're going to have to hoist the sail. You're all the way done? It stays on.
Okay.
Just follow that line all the way out. It's going to go all the way forward.
Aye!
All the way, halyard. We invite you aboard our ships here at Jamestown Settlement to try your hands at the same tasks that they were performing in the 17th century. Avast there! That's your first lesson in sail setting here aboard ship.
There was different rooms for each person that would work on the ships in Jamestown. I'd like to be in here. I'd like to be the cook if I ever went on there because they have a nice private room all to themselves, and I wouldn't exactly mind cooking. The cook gets a bed. It's pretty nice, too.
One of the things we did in Jamestown was we got to try to hollow out a canoe, like the Indians would have done and the settlers learned how to do. I have patience, but not that much. They had to scrape and dig for a long time.
I don't think we're gonna finish this today.
Yeah.
Okay, lunch break.
They have a little Indian encampment.
You see these flakes that are coming off? Well, these flakes that come off are extremely sharp. Let's see this young lady here. Let me get you to hold this for me.
Wow.
We got to see both what the Indians did and what the settlers had done.
Take a look at what you'd actually be fighting with as opposed to going at it with the building materials there.
Well, as an Army guy, it's always cool when guns are going off.
Set your piece. Good. Fire.
Yorktown is interesting. We got to go and fire a cannon.
It's fun to be able to go to Yorktown and actually be part of firing the cannon.
Pull out a paper tube of gunpowder, and he'll rip that open with his teeth, and then sprinkle that powder around the vent field at the back, creating a trail of powder from the outside of the weapon down to that bag of powder he just opened. Lower it and give that final command.
Fire!
Boom!
Well, we didn't actually get to fire the cannon.
Attention! Man at the piece!
And saw a professional team actually shoot the cannon.
It was pretty impressive to see that cannon go off, and it just kind of rang in your ear for several minutes afterwards.
Next up, Colonial Williamsburg. See, it even says it on the sign.
And we all got in the spirit of things and dressed up what we thought were as colonial.
Good morning, top of the day to you.
And what we found out, though, is my outfit that I had was a little bit more of the peasant class.
The driver of the carriage educated us a bit that with my elbows showing, it was a very risque outfit that I had on, possibly a barmaid or something.
It was unique to be in Colonial Williamsburg because it was a true living history. And the people there that are part of the town are real actors. That's their occupation. They were living the part.
Even with these new taxes they placed upon us, unfair as they may be, we still pay far fewer taxes and earn higher wages than if we did live in England.
You actually become part of that living history. And so the kids get to learn something about history.
What is his name?
Nelson, sir.
Nelson. And yours, sir?
My name is Washington, sir.
Washington. Nice to meet you, sir.
It's like, there he is. There's George Washington, come back to life.
And that kind of just throws you back because he's a very young George Washington, as a colonel would be at the time in that era.
My favorite part of Williamsburg was the governor's palace. It was big and beautiful, and it's got a maze in the backyard, too.
You know, of course, any chance that Anthony gets to break away and to have fun, he's going to do it. It was a good time as a family.
Another thing we were able to do was participate with the brick making.
And those same bricks are the ones that they're using to build those houses to continue to restore parts of Colonial Williamsburg. At the end of the day, we had a chance to march with the soldiers. Again, living history and living it, and that was kind of fascinating to just to be a part of that. Smithfield is a river town, and I was able to experience Smithfield from a different view, the tranquil and the serene part of the pagan river.
Clouds roll by like the memories of my life along that country
We've got everything that really made this country what it is today.
The history of Smithfield is really what gives it its soul.
The drum beats in the distance reminds me of the brave and strong freedom song.
I was not expecting Smithfield to have what it has for a small town. It has a lot to offer, it's very unique, and it's very genuine.
This is where those Main Street American values really kind of hold true.
Smithfield, Virginia is home, and home to all of us.
They'll have to carry me out of Smithfield in a pine box.
Feels like home already. We just want to pull the RV up and stay here for months, maybe even years.